What I agree that the Global Summit is a great platform, not just for local dialogue, but for global dialogue. I think that having an opportunity to attend a summit like this is very unique because of the fact that you're able to meet so many people from around the globe, but yet take those conversations to a very local level, a level that becomes something that you can actually act on, and you can move a technology or an idea or a platform forward. So yeah, I absolutely do think so.
Could you give us a top line 30-second on your platform and why it's relevant to the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So just from a very high level, our platform, we're calling it the world's very first reality intelligence-based platform. And unlike artificial intelligence, which is basically these large language models where we lean into the world's scanned data and then the synthetic data on top of that to tell us what's wrong with us or what are we going to be doing tomorrow, or what foods will we like. What we're doing is we're bridging the gap between the physical world and the data that you own, and that becomes your LLM. And the way that we do that is we take all of your data, we put it inside of a private blockchain that you control. And that gives data back to the sovereign, back to the individual. So now the individual controls their data, monetizes their data, and that data becomes the LLM that helps you in your life.
Would you say this is transformative?
Absolutely transformative. This technology is the first technology that's going to start to take data away from big tech. So for example, if I go and buy a shirt on Amazon, Amazon makes as much money off of my data as they do selling me that shirt. Well, now when my agent goes in to buy that shirt, Amazon knows nothing about me. And with the advancements of AI and platforms like ours, even if Amazon decides we don't want your agents in here, we can say that's okay, we can shop around you, and our users will make the money off of the data, not Google and not Amazon.
What do you think the thinking of this platform will be for those in Europe and Africa?
Yeah, I actually think that Europe is going to be one of the places that appreciates this technology the most. I think that Europe has been leading the charge in data privacy and getting data back to the owners. So if you could imagine a unified medical record that's on top of a blockchain, now every citizen of Europe or the United States or Africa owns their own medical data. They decide who to share it with, when to share it, and they can monetize it if they so choose.
Does this democratize healthcare in some ways for the ordinary person?
Yeah, absolutely. And not just healthcare, it really monetizes anything that you want to plug into this platform. Because now, again, the individual owns their platform and the individual can choose what to do with that data.
How do you give them a reassurance that this is safe for the individual?
Yeah, I think that you're always going to have some skepticism. I think the best way that you could describe it is if you believe in the concept of a blockchain, then you can believe in the concept of data security inside of that blockchain. And just to give you a quick example, let's say you have 100 fields in your medical record. When you convert that to a blockchain, you now have 100 blocks that are encrypted inside of your private blockchain. If you have 1 million records, that's 100 million blocks that have to be hacked simultaneously to crack those medical records. And so it just takes data. The system removes all data from known relational databases, all data out of databases, and moves all data onto blockchains, owned by the sovereign, owned by the individual.